And here it is, the book that made me fall in love with reading. Hi, it's Jake. I want to talk to you today about how I fell in love with reading at 28. I'm 28 years old, going on 29, and I was not a reader growing up. I did not have my head stuck in books because I loved film and I loved theater. It took me a long time for me to figure out why I didn't like reading as a kid. And that's simply that it's not that I didn't like reading. The issue is that I didn't think that I could do it, and I didn't think that I could do it well. I wasn't ready to receive all that reading could offer because I didn't really have it modeled around me, and I didn't think that I could do it in the way that I saw other people do it. I didn't think that I could read fast enough. I didn't think that I could understand it as well as other people around me could, and I didn't think that it could hold my attention. I just didn't think that I was a good reader. Many years later, I figured out that I have ADHD, so if I would have known that then, that probably could have explained a lot of things. Figured that out, we're here, we're medicated, and we are moving forward. And that is probably part of the reason why I'm able to enjoy reading now, is because I am rebuilding my focus and trying to find ways to tune everything out and stay with one experience and one story at a time. Now, I'm not gonna say I didn't read at all when I was a kid, okay? That's rude. The Scholastic Book Fair went fucking crazy. I love this. Just as soon as she rolled into town like a circus. What am I gonna buy today? Of course, it wasn't my funds, it was my parents' funds. And I said, please. But it's for books. It's for reading. Don't worry that it comes with a charm bracelet. That's not what I'm buying it for. No, I'm definitely buying it for the story. So hats off to whoever came up with the Scholastic Book Fair. You probably didn't get paid enough for your efforts, but you really brought some kids into literature, and I have to give you your flowers for that. Some books I remember reading in my childhood, assigned or not: Tangerine, Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, Pobre Anna in Spanish class. Absolutely. Absolutely. You think that doesn't count? It counts, because we analyzed and broke that bitch down line by line. That was just an experience for me. It was an experience. Let's see, Fahrenheit 451. My personals, though, because I'm struggling to recollect: Twilight, of course, just as everybody did, Divergent, The Hunger Games. Now, The Hunger Games, that brought me into a reading era, a reading moment in time. I read all those books, devoured them down the house, because I loved the movies. So I said, let me check this out. And that first one, oh, it got me good. I remember laying back on the couch, taking in every second of that story. Peeta in the earth, Katniss being lifted up to the heavens. It's so iconic now, and it's certainly a modern classic, as dubbed by another booktuber. It's good writing. Oh, let's see. Beastly, The Lightning Thief, The Last Song. Did you know that Nicholas Sparks actually wrote the screenplay for the movie and then wrote the book about it? When many of his books are adaptations from the word to the screen, not this one. He said, Miley Cyrus, I'm going to give you a banger before your bangers. And then I'm going to write a book about it. I Am Number 4. I Am Number 4 is a revolutionary novel. It really is. It developed something in me. Pittacus lore. An anonymous author. It just starts it at the beginning just being like, kind of like the way a found footage film starts. Like, you have just picked up this piece of material. I'm going to tell you a story. Got to keep this a secret. This is ancient. This is a situation. It's on the low. They're living among us. When I said, oh my God, my mind is blown. Let's not forget about all the textbooks we had to read. Oh my God, all the huge ass books we had to lug around. We had to keep them in the locker, in our cars, in our backpacks. It's just a struggle. Yeah, I'm sure my shoulders were balled up. That all counts. Those fucking mathematic problems where they're like, Jack fell down the hill and rolled 7 times. If Jill rolled down the hill after him 8.5 times, what did they have for lunch? I don't know what they had for fucking lunch. Tea and crumpets, maybe? Why are you asking? You want me to calculate, right? You want me to design a time travel machine so I could figure out what they ate for lunch. Okay, yeah, got it. There's also another reason why I wasn't a reader in school. It's gonna be just a little spritz of this. I just had other interests during the time. I had other hobbies taking up my time, and I did not want to crack open a paperback. All right, I just didn't. Didn't care, didn't want to, didn't feel like it, didn't think about it. I had rehearsal, a project to work on, a YouTube video to watch, a YouTube video to record possibly, a vlog to make. We don't need to speak about 8th grade daily vlogging. I don't want to talk about it. But what I didn't realize at the time is, baby, you can do all of those things and read and more. You just gotta make time for it. And baby Jake, once you realize the benefits and the power of reading, you're gonna want to read. Yeah. Let's talk about what inspired me to read at the beginning of October. I've had a bookshelf full of books that I haven't touched since we unpacked them, basically a year. And this one book kept popping out at me. I had read a few chapters of it last year and didn't finish it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this a chance. It's a gay romance. And see what reading is all about. Oh yes, folks, at 28. But it's never too late. Okay, my good friend and coworker at the time, Talia, she's been a reader. All right, she was teaching me how to read. She was reading The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna at the time. Big book. And as we finished one book, we were going to the next. So we were just kind of helping each other and, cheering each other on, talking about what we were reading. We never read the same book at once, except the very last book that we read, which we read together, Demon Copperhead. At the beginning of October, I was just feeling emotional, unsteady, but in a mostly steady way, wistful, weary. I just needed something to freshen up my life. You know what I mean? So I wasn't even really unhappy or depressed. I just needed something, a little spark, if you may. An all spark, if you like Transformers. Part of it was how I was feeling. Part of it was my life circumstances. All of this. But the other part of it is this. I struggle with TikTok. I didn't have it for a very long time. I think I got it in 2021. Same with Reels. It's exhausting. It doesn't make me feel good. Sometimes it makes me laugh. It certainly makes my partner laugh, that's for sure, because he's over there giggling at night, and I want to share in that joy. But sometimes it's just annoying to me. The constant yelling, the complaining, the singing, the same songs over and over again that continue to go viral. There's always going to be a new viral hit, and it's just the same shit over and over again. I love Wicked, but I don't need to hear the same part over and over and over and over again. It just hurts me. It hurts me to see him treat you the way that he does. I just can't. It's a whole swirl in a bottle for me. It's just the perfect storm to annoy me, and I'm tired of it. That's another part of it. Lastly, the element of ADHD. I cannot focus on anything for a long time. With the scroll, with even YouTube at times, just clicking from video to video, it's like, so I need to just delegate. I need to box certain parts of my life up. As humans, we all naturally do want to do that, and I don't like being put in a box, but I'm certainly going to put my interests in a box for the sake of my well-being. Anyways, so I wanted to rebuild my focus and be able to sit down and digest a book and sit with a book for a while. And what I noticed is that when I read, time flies. I can sit there and read for a while, for hours, and look back in the clock, and I'm, oh shit. And I love that. I haven't experienced anything like that in a long time. Now, I do experience that with singing, with film that I enjoy, dancing. I mean, it's mostly things that I love. I can watch time melt away, but I haven't had a new interest that did that for me in a long time. So that was also really exciting to me. So before I tell you the book that got me into reading, that really was the gateway to the rest of the reading world. Why should you read if you don't already? Escapism, that's the first one. It allows you to get the fuck out of here and go somewhere else for a while. just like movies do. And let me just say this. If you love film and you don't think that you could love reading, that's false. It's just false. Just please trust me. Trust me in this. I understand that it's such a visual medium, that film is really laying everything out for you. But your imagination is powerful, and watching the words leap off the page is a feeling that is hard to describe. It's magical. It really is. And there are certain times where I need the visual, because I'm a visual learner. But there's been something about reading that has helped me calm my mind and also reignite areas of my imagination that have been dark for a while. And part of it on this like film tangent, reading could help me appreciate the visual storytelling that film does. Escapism was really important for me, especially around election day, because once that shit came and passed, first of all, someone crashed into my fucking parked car on election night. So that was already irritating. And then the fucking Cheeto one. So that was another nail in the coffin. And then something else happened in my life a couple of weeks later. That was just the final fucking nail in the coffin. And I said, girl, I need to get out of here. Out. One book that helped me get out of here was The Darkness Outside Us. It's an Achillean, male on male, an Achillean romance in space that truly transported me to another realm, another dime, another dimension. It's really good. And there's a sequel out. This is by Elliot Treffer. It's a YA, but it doesn't read like a YA, so don't go into it thinking this is too young for me. This is not for me, because it's hot. It's hot, it's sexy, it's sci-fi. It's everything you need in your life right now. Also, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. If you think it's overrated, it is, but it's still worth your time, I think. I want to gain intelligence and another perspective. The main reason why reading is so valuable is because it intensifies your empathy and allows you to step into someone else's shoes for a brief moment. We can only learn so much from ourselves, from those around us, and the world that we find ourselves in. We need to steep ourselves in someone else's life to truly gain the amount of empathy required to live on this planet. Wow, that was deep. Girl, somebody write that down. Oh shit. Oh, dizzy. God, I'm so smart. Books can teach history, mythology, how to tell a good story. Lastly, you should just read for fun and entertainment, enjoyment. I'm not gonna sit here and say, you need to be reading Tolstoy. You need to be reading all the classics. I'm talking 1984, Wuthering Heights, Little Women, Kafka. I'm trying to think of classic books. The Bible. If you haven't read every single page of the Bible, you're not a reader. Shut up. Shut up. I'm not having it with people like that, with reading purists. I started to read 1984 around the time of the election. That idea, I understand, because I said I want to get into a classic because that will prove to myself that I'm a reader. Fuck no, I couldn't do it. It read like a textbook. I didn't like it. Maybe at another point in my life, I will go back to it. I'm not saying that it's a bad book. I just don't think it's written well to me. The world building is extensive, and the way that it shaped the rest of literature and influenced many other books, I'm not taking anything about that away from it, okay? I'm just saying it's not for me. And I was forcing myself to read it, and it wasn't until a guest came into the place where I was working at, and she said, why the fuck are you reading that? Don't read that right now. She gave me the permission to tell myself to stop, and I did. And before that, when I was reading a book I had bought from the bookstore, on a whim, I didn't read any reviews, didn't read nothing. Talia said to me, you don't need to finish a book if you're not enjoying it. And that includes books that you've purchased, which sucks. I know it fucking stings because that's your hard-earned money that you have used to buy this thing that you don't like. But you know what? Shit's gonna happen. One, you could return it. I was 60 pages in to this book that I DNF'd. The only book I've DNF'd so far. Well, that's not true because I DNF'd 1984 as well. But this book that I purchased, because I got 1984 from the library, I was upset because the humor was really good and the plot foundation was good, but not much had happened in 60 pages and I was upset. But because Talia gave me the permission to finish it, I've now given myself the permission to not finish any book that I am not having a good time reading. Because for me, it is about the experience. It is not checking a book off of my list. It's not about finishing it just to say I finished it. I need to be enjoying the reading experience, because if I'm not, then why am I doing it in the first place? I'm just saying. What are some benefits of reading? Emotional growth. You're gonna grow as a person, mentally, physically, psychologically, emotionally. You're gonna connect with stories and characters that you can relate to. And if you can't connect with it, you're gonna gain insight into an experience that you haven't had before and ultimately come out a better person. Mental relaxation. This one is important to me. It'll help you recalibrate your focus like it has for me. I can read way easier than I did 2 months ago. It was a chore to sit down and open a book, which there are various factors at play. I'm able to sit down and open a book and stay engaged way longer than I did before. I have ADHD, and if I can read 8 books in a month, you can certainly read one. You need to start small. Make small goals for yourself. On Fable, I set my end of year goal as 5 books. That's a lot for me. I read 6 books in October and 8 books in November. Jake in September, never would have thought that was possible. Never. But I did it, and I'm proud of it. I am not going to continue to one-up myself. Yes, you should push yourself once you get to a certain point, but I don't want to set a goal so high that I am going to give up on reading as a whole. I don't want to do that. So right now, I have hit my goal. I upped my goal to 14 books by the end of the year. In total, and I've read 15. So you know what? I feel good about myself, and I'm gonna leave that goal right where it is. I don't need to touch it. We're in the last month of the year. What I read this month is what I read this month. Lastly, it's gonna increase your creativity, and I think for those of us who love film, it's going to make us appreciate the visual medium much more than if we had not been readers. Here are some ways you can start. I want you to start with accessible books. You can even do short books. I don't care. If you want to start reading, you're going to start reading. No one's going to force you to do it. Unless you're in school, obviously. Whatever. You need to start with a small goal. 2 books. Can you read 2 books in the entire year of 2025? I'm pretty sure you can, even if you force yourself. What some people are not understanding when they're complaining about our population not reading is that we need to meet people where they are. If you enjoy books by listening to them through audiobooks, then do that. I still encourage you to read words on a page. At least one book you should read without audio help. But we're getting you in, and that's important. And if you're enjoying the experience of listening to a book more than reading, then whatever. I don't give a fuck. Read it physically, read it digitally, read it audibly, read it however you need to read it. I'm here for you reading. Carve out time each day to read. 30 minutes. If that seems like too much, 20. That's all you need. A little bit of time in the morning or a little bit of time in the evening. On your commute home, you certainly have time. I don't care how busy you are. You can make time for this. And at the end of the day, this is going to make you better. So it's 1000% worth it. And lastly, for this section, put your phone in a different room. Run that battery down till it's almost dead, so you have to give that up. Sit on the couch and read. Or a comfy chair, or the floor, or the bed, whatever you want. Put your phone somewhere where you cannot check it while you're reading. Because at the beginning, I could not. I was checking that phone every page almost. Now I can sit there and read in peace without worrying what's going on my phone. It's not important. And if it really is important, your shit's gonna be blowing up and you're gonna know there's an emergency. But until that happens, put it away. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. I am making content daily, at least for the month of December, not for the rest of that's overwhelming. Okay, it's overwhelming. Please subscribe and please share if you have gotten back into reading as an adult, what your gateway book was. And if you are about to get into reading, ask people in the comments for suggestions and recommendations. There are so many good booktubers on this platform. You don't need to go onto Book Talk right now, okay? That we're just starting out. We're just starting out. Don't go on there. It's going to be complicated and overwhelming and annoying. So just stick to YouTube for now. I will put some of my favorite booktubers in the description below. People that I trust, that have good taste, that I recommend. You can also trust me because I have good taste, and I guarantee you I am not going to waste your time with a book that is not worth your time. I was just having this conversation with my mom earlier this morning, and it's just not worth it. If you're not enjoying a book, put it down. If a book doesn't sound that appealing to you, don't even pick it up. If a book seems overhyped, it probably is. That's right, I'm talking about A Court of Thorns and Roses. ACOTAR, babes. It's overhyped. I haven't read it. I've heard from a trusted source that Fourth Wing is better. And even Fourth Wing is overrated. Now let me reveal to you what book I read to get me back into reading. Everybody, I have an announcement. I'm coming out as a reader. I know, it is so not me. I know, but it really is me. It is who I am now. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've always been a reader, but I haven't been a reader until now. And here it is, the book that made me fall in love with reading. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Now listen, okay, I hear you. If you're a book bitch, meaning you fuck with reading, I get it. You've heard about this book a billion times, you've probably read it, but I was just talking about overration. This book is not overrated. It deserves absolutely everything that it has gotten and more. Holy shit. Let me see if I have, because I wrote a lot of my quotes down in my journal, which I can also pull. Oh, I love this one. Page 224. You ready for this? I learned to sleep through the day so that I would not be tired when he returned. He always needed to talk then, and to tell me down to the last detail about the faces and the wounds and the movements of men. Here's the line. And I wanted to be able to listen, to digest the bloody images, to paint them flat and unremarkable onto the face of posterity. If that doesn't make you feel like a fucking scholar, then I don't know what. Onto the vase of posterity? Hold on, there's more, because that's not even the one that made me feel things. This is a Greek tragedy. For those of you who don't know, page 350. When I am dead, I charge you to mingle our ashes and bury us together. Oh! Let me read you one more. This is not like exhilarating or something, but I just thought it was such good imagery. It was something that I completely imagined. Then he breathes, a puff of air, as if to send dandelions flying, to push toy boats over water. The only other book that I've read as an adult, I was probably 21 or 22, that made me feel things like this, is Ready Player One. That shit is so good. Now, it doesn't have the romantic, flowery prose of this one, but it is fucking action-packed. Hits. That's a page turner. Yeah, that's a book muncher, baby. You'll eat that shit all the way up. All right, that's all I have to say on this one. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope I've inspired you to read. I'm currently reading Sula by Toni Morrison. Let me know what you're reading or what you want to read in the comments below. Mahalo for watching. Until next time.